What if I told you your thumbs, your timeline, and a spreadsheet called engagement quietly reintroduced astrology to the masses? Welcome to Unboxd Origins. I'm Howie, your resident science geek and accidental trivia sponge.
And I'm Wyatt. I ask the big questions. Sometimes philosophical, often skeptical, always curious.
Today, we're digging into how did algorithmic horoscopes make astrology mainstream again? Let's start at the beginning, but not the mythic beginning, the practical one. For centuries, horoscopes lived in newspapers, dusty almanacs, and late-night radio, predictable, often witty, and broadly written for everyone. That format relied on a single axis of identity, your sun sign, and treated its audience as a homogeneous block. It was cozy and communal, but not particularly personalized. Then, the internet happened. Early online forums and personal blogs in the 2000s kept astrology alive for niche communities. Live journal mood posts, Tumblr aesthetic mood boards, and MySpace profile badges where you declared your moon sign like a social pronoun. These spaces were fertile ground for experiments in style and voice, but they still lacked two modern essentials: scalable personalization engines and social feeds optimized for virality. Fast forward to the smartphone era, and you get the first generation of astrology apps. Companies like CoStar and The Pattern arrive with an unexpected combo: astronomical data, automated chart calculation, and short-form interpretive text. They used publicly available ephemerides, the positions of planets, and coded rules to translate planetary placements into sentences that sound eerily specific. The technical novelty wasn't just that they automated charts, it was that they turned each birth chart into a modular content template. Put in a birth time, and suddenly thousands of possible sentence fragments could be stitched together into a reading that feels tailored. On top of that, these apps weren't shy about product psychology. They pushed notifications timed to feel like destiny. Mars is edgy today, and encouraged social features, screenshot cards, and shareable one-liners that made a private reading a public badge. Meanwhile, platforms like Instagram and later TikTok became the distribution layer that astrology needed. Visual formatting, sleek black and white CoStar screenshots, pastel pattern graphs, memeable astro energy posts made astrology inherently snapshot-worthy. A millennial scrolling their feed could pause for a 3-line horoscope, screenshot it, and post it to stories with a laugh react. Creators discovered that astrology performed extremely well in algorithmic timelines because it checks the virality boxes: emotionally resonant, identity anchoring, and easy to consume. Influencers, some formerly trained astrologers and others self-styled, adapted their readings to platform languages. Short, punchy captions on Instagram, confessional monologues on TikTok with trending audio, and carousel posts that drip-feed revelations. The social loop was tight. Platforms rewarded shareable astrology with reach, which made astrology more visible and socially acceptable than its newspaper ancestors ever were. But there's a second technical angle that's easy to miss. Personalization at scale is not the same as true personalization. Recommendation systems are optimized for engagement metrics: click-throughs, watch time, shares, not metaphysical truth. So what did algorithmic horoscopes optimize for? Ambiguity that feels specific. Psychologists call this the Barnum effect. People accept vague, flattering statements as uniquely applicable to themselves. Algorithms learn to write for that sweet spot, language that is emotionally evocative, slightly contradictory, and therefore interpretable in multiple ways. Add in behavioral data: which daily push notification got clicked, which reading was screenshotted, which line prompted a comment, and the systems quickly learned which phrasing kept users returning. A/B testing, natural language templates, and tiny UX nudges turn horoscope text into an engineered product. Art poetry, part conversion funnel.
Aha! Here's the twist that people often miss. The resurgence wasn't purely mystical yearning. It was cultural matchmaking. The algorithm didn't just make horoscopes feel personal. It made them shareable identity objects. When you post a screenshot that says Capricorn energy, you are not merely sharing a prediction. You're signaling taste, mood, tribe, and even political shorthand. Suddenly, astrology became a language for small social groups to coordinate identity. That's why micro-influencers found such traction. They weren't always the most accurate astrologers. They were the best at packaging readings into memes, playlists, and aesthetics people wanted to belong to.
Exactly. And the business playbook was borrowed from social apps and advertising. Push notifications operate like gentle horoscopes for your attention span. Time to moments of weakness, often framed as a personal nudge. Push, you are ready for a change at 8:34 a.m., and you get a click. Email subject lines and in-app banners became tiny oracles. Then came the monetization layers, premium subscriptions that promised deeper charts, one-on-one readings booked via in-app bookings, and personalized content trails that fed influencers' merch. The pattern you begin to see is one of feedback loops. Algorithmic content generates engagement. Engagement trains algorithms. Algorithms produce more targeted, meme-ready content, and the social platforms amplify the most shareable pieces. In this ecosystem, astrology isn't just revived, it's optimized for modern attention economies. There's also an important social consequence: accessibility. Traditional astrology required some learning. Reading a table of houses, understanding transits. Algorithmic horoscopes flatten that barrier. With a chart calculated in seconds and a neatly packaged takeaway line, astrology moved from niche expertise to pop culture shorthand. That shift democratized access. Anyone with a phone could get a natal chart and a daily lesson. But it also simplified nuance. Houses, aspects, and progressions that once took an apprenticeship to read were condensed into bite-sized interpretations, which is brilliant for cultural reach and worrying for depth.
Another aha moment. These algorithmic horoscopes are less about proving astrology and more about providing a narrative resource. People today live in fragmented social worlds, remote work, ephemeral friendships, curated feeds. The algorithm offers tiny stories to stitch those fragments together. Today, Mars challenges your communication. Reads like a plot point you can use to interpret a weird text or to justify setting a boundary. The accuracy is secondary. The utility is in supplying meaning when you need it. That's why some find them therapeutic. They function like microtherapy sessions spun from code. Low cost, instantly available, and socially legible. The surprising twist is that the technology that's often accused of depersonalizing us can also manufacture a very particular kind of personalization, one that's communal and shareable.
Let's not ignore the cultural economy either. Memes are currency. Astrology's revival rode the same network effects that made viral challenges and dance trends ubiquitous. When an astrological phrase becomes a hashtag, it's discoverable, remixable, and monetizable. Creators and platforms noticed engagement spikes and doubled down. Brands cooperated too. Horoscope-themed marketing, branded tarot decks, and influencer partnerships turned readings into consumer hooks. What was once the province of a few devoted practitioners became a content category with its own KPIs, retention, DAUs, and viral lift. In short, algorithmic horoscopes succeeded because they were engineered to live inside platforms that reward shareability and repeat visits.
Is the ethical wrinkle, and I offer it gently. When your existential questions are answered by black box models tuned for engagement, we need to ask, who benefits? Are these platforms enriching a sense of community and curiosity, or are they harvesting a craving for certainty? The answer is both. There's genuine comfort and belonging being created, and there's also a profit motive subtly steering the narrative. But remember, people are not just passive recipients. They remix, annotate, and critique these readings, creating counter-memes and even newer astrological vocabularies. The system may nudge, but culture pushes back and reshapes.
Putting it all together, algorithmic horoscopes made astrology mainstream again because a confluence of technical affordances and cultural needs intersected. Personalized chart engines made readings feel bespoke. UX and copywriting techniques made them sticky. Social platforms made them shareable. And influencers turned them into identity tools. The result is a feedback loop that feeds on itself and on human desires for meaning, community, and play. It's not that the stars changed their minds, it's that our tools reframed the stars into deliverables. Short, relatable, and optimized for your feed.
Why it matters is twofold. Culturally, algorithmic horoscopes show how technology can revive old practices by translating them into new communicative forms. They demonstrate that belief systems ebb and flow, not only with philosophical arguments, but with changes in how information is produced and shared. Practically, this trend highlights the responsibility platforms and creators bear. When we outsource meaning-making to engineered content, we should ensure it enriches rather than exploits. That means transparency about how readings are generated, promoting depth where needed, and encouraging critical engagement alongside delight.
On a human level, the revival reminds us why people love stories. Whether the narrative comes from astrologers or algorithms, we're drawn to patterns that help us make sense of unpredictable lives. Algorithmic horoscopes simply learned how to be good storytellers for the smartphone age. Brief, evocative, and shareable.
If you enjoyed this cosmic unpacking, like, subscribe, and share to help our little constellation of viewers grow.
So, were your thumbs, your timeline, and that boring spreadsheet really what brought astrology back into the mainstream? Or did the stars just get better at social media?